in 2026, you've got leaders from Ripple and XDC network.
So we have these two different channels, the banking crisis and the fiscal, and both of them lead to money printing. And when you print USD, that drives crypto prices up. Volatility is not risk. I will spend 10 minutes arguing this point, saying that if you are of the opinion that crypto is too volatile, therefore I cannot invest, you're uneducated, and I would love to educate you.
Yo, did he just come after everybody in the audience? What? He said, if you think crypto is too volatile to invest, you're uneducated. Oh, shit. What a way to end to start a freaking panel. That's funny.
Crypto impacts AI positively, and AI impacts crypto positively. AI leads to unemployment, which in turn leads to money printing. The way AI leads to unemployment is that it displaces knowledge workers. It doesn't displace people with the lowest income, which technology often does. This particular technology displaces the people with median income or above average incomes. And this will have a ripple effect of the economy, because these are the people who consume, these are the people who own houses with mortgages. And so a technological revolution that means that the masses are unemployed is vastly different from a technology that we have seen in the past. So if AI displaces knowledge workers, we will see consumer credit defaults and mortgage defaults, and this leads to a banking crisis. What happens in a banking crisis? The Fed will print money. That's what they usually do. That's what they did in March 2023 in the SVB collapse. It's their action of choice. So that's on the one column. Besides this, we have another mechanism going on, which is the fiscal channel. So if AI displaces knowledge workers, and if you're not convinced of this yet, just look at what happens at the companies that Elon Musk have and Jack Dorsey. So AI leads to unemployment, and this creates less tax revenues in addition to more unemployment benefits. This grows the US deficit, which wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't for the fact that the deficit is already astronomically large. So you have a huge US deficit that keeps growing, and this is one of the drivers for the growth of the US deficit. And as Ray Dalio has argued in multiple books, if you look historically, what happens when the deficit gets too large? The only way out is to inflate. The only way out is to reduce the value of that massive debt burden with inflation. There's no other politically acceptable means to end such a high debt burden. So we have these two different channels, the banking crisis and the fiscal, and both of them lead to money printing. And when you print USD, that drives crypto prices up.
So y'all heard what that dude just said, right? About the AI, okay, and how that's going to lead to freaking job displacement and all kinds of stuff, right? Financial crisis, where eventually the Fed's going to have to stimulate the economy and ease monetary policy and pump liquidity into the system. And eventually that'll drive asset prices higher, like crypto. And this guy right here from the RWA summits, Anamako brand sitting next to Standard Charter, this guy said this real quick. Watch this.
Cool. So Alan, you mentioned about the HELO tokenization. So do you see that stablecoin may be part of those as a currency for those transactions? And how do you see AI and the real world asset tokenization and stablecoin, maybe they intersect, or how did you see AI may actually be able to facilitate the process?
Yeah, I think because HELOC is natively minted on the blockchain, the only way to buy it and access it is via stablecoin, whether it is USDC or USDT or any other local currency stablecoin, right? So, you know, and I think that would drive stablecoin adoption, and that really is, you know, to your point about, you know, it's 300-ish billion right now. Is it a very big number? Not really, right? But I think as there's more higher quality asset come on chain, it will attract more people coming in, right? So HELOC is the boring product. It's 8-9%, but you know, right now there's a lot of people starting quant fund of fund or other DeFi strategy that has returns in the teens or even in the 20s, and I think that will attract more capital. So that's the first point, right? On the second point of AI and crypto, I think one of the major use case is going to be around the world of the agentic web, right? So if you think blockchain has actually disrupted a lot of industry, whether it is gaming and entertainment, and that's the first phase. What you're going to see is blockchain is going to enable AI agents, right? So for those of you that has paid attention, you may have seen that Vitalik has announced the ERC 8004 standard, which is really around giving identity, validation, and also reputation registry to an agent, right? Because how would I know that this agent has done what it claims that it has do? How would I know where it came from? Who owns it, right? So now there are blockchain standards that actually allow agent to verify themselves and to prove that they've done what they have done, right? And that's the perfect use case of blockchain, right? And then the other thing is, you know, with standard like X402, you know, it become a very simple payment method for agent to transact. Again, when agent in the future transact, they're not going to take out a credit card or use cash. They're going to use digital currency, stablecoin or other tokens, right? So, you know, now I think we're seeing a whole set of blockchain.
Bro, could you imagine like what that future is going to look like in just a few years? Like, how crazy of a world are we really stepping into, bro? What a good question to contemplate on. You know, wild stuff going on here. Absolute wild stuff going on. Well, while Aqua's getting situated, as it seems like he's not at his computer, I'm going to continue with the presentation for today and just share some of the stuff that I have before I know Aqua's going to bring some stuff to the table as well when he gets situated. In the first portion of today's video breakdown, I want to just play some video clips that have been recently shared inside the private CYPRX Discord via the research team, to just share with you guys some of the ongoing happenings behind the scenes and some of the things from systemically important organizations and large entities and enterprises in this space that have been voicing their opinion about the current market environments and just what we're going through as a civilization that is undergoing a massive transformation. Okay. Especially as big as finance, right? It's like literally the plumbing of how everything that we do as humans operate is transforming right beneath our very, feet. And well, the plumbing is, and not a lot of people are paying attention. It's very unfortunate. And so we're going to continue to try to show you guys all the videos, all the breakdowns, all the information that you should be tapping into, or at least considering, because everything that we do in the CYPRX research community is all institutional based. We don't really base our own personal opinions and give you guys outrageous projections and freaking, oh, XRP is going to go to $1,000 and Canton's going to go to $10 one day and all that crazy hype that you see. No, we just stick to pulling our information directly from the source, directly from these institutional perspectives. And so I want to play some of those perspectives to kick off today's video breakdown for you guys. All right. So I want to start here with this post. This was a crazy video that one of the researchers shared. One of our top researchers in the private Discord shared this video. And I was sitting there watching it, and I didn't know that a representative from XDC Network and Ripple were both sitting on stage. Now, I'm very fond, of course, of both organizations in this ecosystem. So, of course, I had to watch this one. So I said here, playing a video clip from this particular panel discussion for you guys in a second, I said digital assets are quietly reshaping the entire financial system, and almost nobody is watching. In 2026, you've got leaders from Ripple and XDC Network, Kenneth Cohen and Nigel Kaku, sitting on the same stage discussing the future of global markets. And this video had freaking 4 views, y'all. And it was uploaded like 2 or 3 days ago, right? Crazy work. That should tell you everything. While retail is distracted by price, candles, and hype cycles, institutions are building the rails for tokenized assets, real-time settlement on-chain, liquidity, global trade transformation. The biggest shift in financial history is being discussed in rooms no one is paying attention to. And by the time that these views actually catch up, the opportunity will not look the same, especially once institutional players finally onboard into this space at scale. I don't think people truly understand the opportunity that they might miss out on if they don't start to really truly lock in the next consecutive couple of months. And that's going to be proven not from my perspective, but from an institutional standpoint on what's about to take place in this space in the next 8 to 12 months. So let's just listen to the gentleman from XDC Network real fast. I'm going to play one key video clip where he talks about a missed opportunity for banks, especially banks that aren't involving themselves in the DeFi ecosystem right now. And that's going to go hand in hand with this whole entire missed opportunity nomenclature that I'm trying to throw at you guys to really get you to understand that if they're talking about banks missing this opportunity, as a retail investor, as the smaller guy, it trickles down to the same exact concept that if we're not taking advantage of this current environment, this discounts, again, not financial advice, learning about AI, building digital skills, incorporating AI into our strategies, learning about blockchain, learning about DeFi, and really just embedding ourselves into this, transformative era, then we also, as retail investors, risk falling behind. There's going to be most likely a category of individuals, as you heard that gentleman say a second ago, that AI is going to really start to replace jobs in the coming years ahead, that it might not look so serious now, but we are starting to see some cracks of that replacement, that job replacement under the surface. It's only likely going to get worse in the future. You don't want to be stuck in 2035 getting universal basic income from the government and having CBDCs programmed into your digital wallet in the future where you can only spend certain amounts of money every single day because you're reliant on the system for income. You want to take advantage of learning how to trade, learning how to use DeFi, learning how to use your assets to work for you to literally evolve in this digital era so you are not dependent on the system that they are going to integrate into this portion of digital finance, because they are. There's going to be a portion of people just like now that are dependent on the system and people that aren't. And in the future, being dependent on the system is going to be extremely scary because they're going to be able to monitor, track, control, and trace, do everything to you guys straight through their digital wallets, where they're going to be able to literally charge you for coming out of your house via the ESG requirements, the 2030 agenda, because you emit carbon dioxide, right?
The only exceptions were in the monstrous experimental societies of the 20th century that are now in the graveyard of history. But at the turning point of my life and of the century, the advance of technology changed things. Technology made it possible for the first time ever for computers to monitor and record the behavior of billions of human beings at once. And now, here we are, 1/4 of the way into our century, and technology has just changed everything again. Because now, for the first time, it is possible for billions of humans to be not only monitored, but also controlled by AIs as living slaves. Now, the people who imagine themselves the rulers and beneficiaries of this new order will tell you that it is for your safety. But I tell you, this is not safe. It is a reckless and unstable perversion of the natural order of human civilization.
And so, as conspiratorial as that sounds, that future we are very fastly headed into. So now is the time to build digital skills. Now is the time to, again, not financial advice, assessing your own personal risk properly, invest into this new digital infrastructure. Just like out back in the early 2000s, you could invest in, imagine, Wi-Fi companies or Bluetooth companies or internet companies and all these things that now, 26 years later, are hitting all-time highs. Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, look at the freaking stock market right now. Look at the S&P 500. Look at the NASDAQ. We're hitting new all-time highs left and right. Well, crypto is still the most undervalued investable asset class on the face of this planet. Mark my words that in years to come, we're going to see the same results, if not more, money come into crypto. Why? Because everything right now is coming into crypto. Real estate, derivatives, freaking like, I could go on. I'm not going to bore you guys to death, but everything is about to come over to blockchain rails. Over time, of course. No hopium, no hype. It's going to take some time. The infrastructure and the plumbing is being built, but nonetheless, now is the time. Now is the moment to really lock in and pay attention. So I don't know where the heck Aqua went. I was trying to talk to see if he would come back on, but I'm assuming that he's going through something right now on the back end. Why he had to hop off. It looks like right there. So we'll come back to that. All right, let's play this video clip. We got the gentleman from XDC Network saying something very important to you guys. Take a second, bend your ear.
Right before the rules are final for this space to take off here, in my mind.
I wonder, Ken, your thoughts on the risks the UK of not taking advantage of this moment in time and opportunity. We're obviously not in the front of the pack anymore, but being a fast follower here could be beneficial. What do you think are the risks of not doing this?
I mean, we've already touched on it. 90% plus of stablecoins are backed by US dollars, so that's the US dollar denomination of the digital asset future. I mean, we're already quite a distance behind that, which puts us at a macroeconomic risk off the back of that. We've also touched on, the new banking platform and all these neobanks that have spoken before us. They're looking at new products, new delivery, new services that are all going to be based on new rails, blockchain, digital assets. And if we don't get on board with this, not only is the current revenue stream of the old standard bank going to dry up as people take their money out of banks and put them into stable coins, but the banks are also not going to be geared up in understanding how they can capitalize in the digital asset space. And actually, they could be making money from DeFi, they could be using it as lending, they could be creating liquidity pools, they could be doing all the things that the degens in the world currently are doing just now. But because they're not looking at it as an asset class or a product to bring in revenue, they're looking at it currently as a threat to their current business case, then actually, we're almost freezing ourselves in time because we're not thinking too much further forward. Then you add everything else on. Investment banking was my background as well. Capital liquidity, I mean, it's the easiest thing, having your money work for you every second of every day. You talk about settlement lags and waiting for your money to arrive before you can send something out. Trade finance, if you're waiting for cash to arrive before you can start your next leg of the business, and you could actually get a finance loan through digital assets. These sort of things are just going to amplify business and bounce things forward. You layer on AI on top of that, it's going to be yards ahead of digital assets. We need the two to move almost in tandem, because you've got, programmable money working with an AI agent that's settling your cash flows on a second by second basis, making you as efficient as possible, meaning you can do more business with less.
You're finding a lot.
Y'all, please tell me you heard what this man just said. What? This is the dude from XDC Network, mind you. Again, so how many of you guys know about XDC Network, how they're revolutionizing trade finance, that whole spiel, right? He's literally going on to talk about AI agents, how they're going to use blockchain technology, how they're going to be able to, through these digital wallets and this new digital infrastructure, to get your capital working for you all the time. And he just said that banks that don't adopt this technology, they risk becoming obsolete. They risk falling behind, right? So that one was very interesting, and that goes hand in hand with what this gentleman here said. Let me pull this one up real fast about how if you're not paying attention to what's happening right now, then you risk becoming obsolete, right? This guy, I don't know who this dude's credentials are, but he was just on Trade Talks. Again, shout out to the researchers for sharing this info. This is from 2 days ago. 35 views. We'll come back to this one here in a second, but I want to play this one because that goes hand in hand with what the dude from the XDC network just said. With this guy.
When does this become scalable? When are we starting to talk in terms of ROI and being able to, show what these investments mean?
From an AI standpoint, the time is now. Anyone in our businesses that is not massively thinking about how to reinvent themselves around AI is facing obsolescence. So that acts initially as maybe a slower path to growth until you get critical mass, and then you get the S-curve. But for AI, the time is now.
Yeah, I know you guys saw that. You all saw he said that the time is now, right? The time is now. And again, that just goes hand in hand with what this gentleman from XDC Network said, sitting next to a Ripple representative, talking about getting your money working for you, and it's all going to be through AI agents.
Their current business case, then actually, we're almost freezing ourselves in time because we're not thinking too much further forward. Then you add everything else on. Investment banking was my background as well. Capital liquidity. I mean, it's the easiest thing, having your money work for you every second of every day. You talk about settlement lags and waiting for your money to arrive before you can send something out. Trade finance, if you're waiting for cash to arrive before you can start your next leg of the business, and you could actually get a finance loan through digital assets. These sort of things are just going to amplify business and bounce things forward. You layer on AI on top of that, it's going to be yards ahead of digital assets. We need the two to move almost in tandem, because you've got, programmable money working with an AI agent that's settling your cash flows on a second by second basis, making you as efficient as possible, meaning you can do more business with less.
Not only that, I just love the fact that they hinted at DeFi, like getting your capital working for you. You said every second of every day, having your capital managed for you through an AI agent, which makes you more efficient and allows you to generate more revenue.